Professor Zixith clicked her mandibles nervously as she reviewed the field trip roster one final time. 23 graduate students from across the Galactic Educational Consortium, representing 14 different species, all eager to visit the legendary human homeworld. She had taught xenobiology for over 2 centuries, but this would be her first time setting foot on the infamous planet that had produced the galaxy's most adaptable species. "Remember," she announced to the assembled students as their transport descended through Earth's atmosphere, "humans evolved on what we classify as a Class 3 Deathworld. Exercise extreme caution, stay within the environmental suit's parameters, and do not under any circumstances consume local organic matter." Kriva, a crystalline student from the silicon-based Vorthon system, raised a translucent appendage. "Professor, the briefings mentioned that humans actually ingest local toxins for pleasure. Is this documented behavior accurate?" "Indeed it is," Professor Zixith replied, her voice carrying a mixture of fascination and horror. "They call it spice. Some of these compounds can dissolve metal." The transport touched down in what the humans called a nature preserve in a region known as Costa Rica. Through the reinforced viewports, the students could see an explosion of green vegetation, more biodiversity in a single square kilometer than existed on most entire worlds. Dr. Sarah Chen, their human guide, met them at the landing site. She wore nothing but thin fabric coverings and breathed the atmosphere directly, a sight that made several students recoil in their environmental suits. "Welcome to Earth," Dr. Chen said cheerfully. "I know this might seem overwhelming, but I promise we'll take it slow." As they began their walk along a designated path, the students quickly realized why Earth had earned its fearsome reputation. Zindar, an aquatic cetacean student, nearly fainted when Dr. Chen casually brushed aside what she called a harmless spider, a creature that would have been classified as a dangerous predator on most civilized worlds. "The local fauna," wheezed Morgan through his breathing apparatus, watching a bird of prey circle overhead with evident terror. "Oh, that's just a hawk," Dr. Chen explained. "They're actually quite beneficial. They help control the rodent population." The concept of predators being beneficial was lost on most of the students, who came from worlds where the most dangerous life forms were perhaps an overly aggressive plant that might give you a rash. Their first real shock came when they encountered a human settlement, a small research station where Dr. Chen's colleagues worked, completely exposed to the elements. The alien students watched in horror as humans casually jogged past, their bodies leaking water through their skin in what Dr. Chen explained was a cooling mechanism. They're malfunctioning," whispered Kexley, a methane-breathing student whose homeworld's average temperature was -40 degrees Celsius. No, Dr. Chen laughed. "That's just sweat. It's how we regulate our body temperature. Pretty efficient, actually." The revelation that humans used controlled system failures as biological features was the first of many disturbing discoveries. During lunch, Dr. Chen offered to demonstrate human food consumption. Despite Professor Zixith's frantic warnings, several students watched in morbid fascination as she bit into what she called a bell pepper. "The capsaicin content should be lethal," muttered Professor Zixith, consulting her datapad frantically. "Actually, this is a mild one," Dr. Chen said, then proceeded to add what she called hot sauce to her meal. The chemical analysis readings from the students' sensors went haywire. But the truly mind-bending moment came when they encountered Dr. Chen's colleague, Dr. Martinez, who was recovering from what he casually mentioned was his 3rd bout of malaria this year. "Malaria?" Professor Zixith's mandibles nearly fell off. "That's a Class 9 pathogen. How are you not dead?" Dr. Martinez shrugged. "Build up immunity after a while. Besides, I've got work to do. Can't let a little fever stop the research." The alien students were beginning to understand something profound about humans. They didn't just survive on a death world. They thrived on it, adapted to it, and in many cases seemed to actively seek out its dangers. This understanding crystallized when young Pipipin, the most adventurous of the students, accidentally damaged his environmental suit on a tree branch. As his classmates panicked, Dr. Chen quickly assessed that the breach was minor and the local air quality was acceptable. You can breathe our air, she assured him. Oxygen-nitrogen mix, similar to your homeworld but with more oxygen. You might actually feel energized. Tentatively, Pippin removed his breathing apparatus. Not only did he survive, but his energy levels visibly increased. For the first time, he began to understand what Dr. Chen had been trying to tell them about adaptation. Earth isn't just a death world, Pippin announced to his classmates that evening as they prepared to depart. It's a training ground. Every challenge, every toxin, every predator. They all made humans stronger, more adaptable, more resilient. Professor Zixith nodded slowly, finally understanding why humans had become the galaxy's most successful spacefaring species in such a short time. They hadn't conquered the stars despite coming from a death world. They had conquered them because of it. As their transport lifted off, the students looked back at the blue-green planet with new respect. They were returning home with more than academic knowledge. They carried with them a new understanding of what it truly meant to be human. Earth wasn't called a death world as a warning about its dangers. It was called a death world out of respect for the incredible species it had forged in its deadly embrace.